In this video, I'll be taking a look at where the Thomas & Friends toys are sold 2 days before Christmas. Then I come in live 2 days after Christmas and take a look at the same area again. Let's do it. To kick off in an adult way, let's take a look at Mattel's share price over the last 5 years. We'll talk about this a little bit more later in the video. As I said when I started the video, I'm taking a look at one of my local retailers with pictures here of the Thomas & Friends area. It's just one sell this year before Christmas, and I was wondering whether a new lot of stock would come into the store, and well, I didn't see it, but what I did see was more Paw Patrol stuff creeping across to the Thomas area, stacks of empty pegs. Look, it just looked gruesome. It's not the look you want if you're looking for Thomas & Friends toys. I could see some of the stock has been sold from the last time I looked here, and it wasn't that long ago. But what I don't see is new stock on the shelves here, and that just rattles my brain because how can you make money when you've got nothing there to sell? I've got a feeling Paw Patrol has nothing to do with Mattel. I think it's Nickelodeon, and I think it's Spin Master that make those toys. So yes, I've painted a picture there for you. You don't need to see any more. Let's take a look at the Toy Story 4 toys. That's Disney, of course. And as I said in that other video when I was speaking on this subject matter, the Toy Story 4 toys were everywhere. Now, they'd been in store for half the year. They were there before the film came out. And yes, initially I saw lots of them being sold, but in the run up to Christmas, I think they'd gone very stale. Because I'm in the toy areas all the time, I see what's popular, and I think the character Forky was a very popular character for them. But toys like Buckshot or Bullseye or the horse's name, whatever it is, they always seem to be shelf sitters, dust collectors. I think the reason why Baby Yoda was not released before Christmas was because there was so much Toy Story 4 toys that were just sitting there and doing zip all. As for the toy companies that make the Toy Story 4 toys for Disney, it's actually a bit of a mixed bag, but the majority of them are made by Mattel. Just keep that in mind. We speak about the Mattel company soon. The toys that I saw that were extremely hot and basically bought up as soon as they hit the shelves was anything related to Bluey. And to explain Bluey, it's like a sheepdog version of Peppa Pig. And what really confuses me about Bluey is I thought Bluey was a boy, but apparently Bluey is a girl. I've never heard of a girl called Bluey, and I live in Australia. So Bluey looks just like her father. You have your say. If I say any more, I'll get into trouble. On a totally different note, one of the retailers in the big shopping centre I go to is finally closing down after many years. It was initially a Grace Brothers store in the mid-70s, then it became a Myer after a takeover in the mid-80s. I used to go there and there was a staff person there named Shane. I got to know him very well. We used to speak about the state of retail in Australia, and I took all these photographs there of what was going on, the end of the toy area there. I used to get toys there occasionally because they would have stuff the other stores didn't have. But it was very, very weird seeing the store that I knew quite well basically being pulled down to nothing. There's something very curious about things that you knew for many years, all of a sudden change and look very, very different. There's a really strange dynamic going on when there's an end of sale thing where everything must go. All sorts of people turn up at these events, and it's just very curious to see how it all ends and what is the last thing not to be sold in a sense. And I could see some of the larger, beautiful Barbie toys, that is the big jetliner that Barbie flies in, and her miraculous van, which has been around for many years, struggled to sell even though it was heavily discounted. Ooh, that's saying something to me, I tell you. Maybe Myer will learn a lesson in how to retail from the closure of this store. The simple equation to success is have a great price on items you're selling and have staff there that are there to serve the customers. These are the things that this store always seemed to lack. Okay, back to the Thomas area. We're going to take a look at the same area, same shop, now 2 days after Christmas. Can you tell what's now gone and what has miraculously appeared? Okay, we've seen the pictures of what it looked like just before Christmas. How good's your memory? Now, I'm looking at this basically 2 days after Christmas. There's the top shelf there. Okay, normally Thomas stuff there, but we're not seeing Thomas stuff here. The Thomas multi-packs have appeared. It's a little bit like, it's a bit late because, well, the Christmas thing is bolted, hasn't it? Would have been nice to see these here before Christmas. For some reason, I see this all the time, Paw Patrol in the Thomas area. There's one of these Trackmaster push-along Thomases going here. As for Trackmaster mechanical version, whatever it's called, there's a Percy, and I think there's an Emily there, okay, but it's actually on the wrong peg. That's not its price. Plenty of empty peggerage there, which has sort of become the norm of the Thomas Empire. It's been something I've looked at a lot. As for the Trackmaster packs, I think nothing much here is different. Okay, you can see what's there. Can you remember back to what was there before? Going down to the next one, we're just looking at Paw Patrol in the Thomas area. Those toys are made by Spin Master and not Mattel, so you've got to ask yourself what's going on there. Okay, next one down, taking a look here, it's a Trackmaster push-along set. Behind there, it's a non-Thomasy thing, it's a Play-Doh thing. Okay, more Paw Patrol. Again, that's not a Mattel toy, that's in the Thomas area. I see that so often now. Going back down to the bottom shelf here, this is the last one to look at, more Paw Patrol. A Super Cruiser has appeared. It looks like a return. It's all banged around and everything. Okay, because some people bring toys back. It might have been a double up or something. That looks like it's probably been to a home and come back. Okay, and then we've got this. This should have been here before Christmas, but it wasn't. It's a great set, 6-in-1 builder set. It's got a Percy, and okay, there's one there. It looks like another one there. I've just seen how many there are. That's 2, 3, 4. Is there another one behind that? No. Okay, so 4 of those excellent sets, and I'll put everything back here. And I've got all these people looking at me because I'm looking like a Thomas and Friends goose. So there you go, that's what's going on inside a store that I come to all the time. Things that I'm not surprised at seeing, and I'm sure that many people can report to me what they're seeing where they live, but hey, Mattel, get your act together please on the Thomas stuff. Toy Story 4 toys, it just takes up the whole area. Now I'm looking at this after Christmas. Look at this here, okay, there's a top shelf there. There's so much of this stuff here, I'll just do an angle like that, you can see what's going on there. Lots of, what's his name, Buckshot, Bullseye, whatever that horse is. Okay, more and more and more. It just sort of goes on forever and ever and ever. And it's really sad that these toys never found a home at Christmas time. Actually, I think I'm seeing the bargain of the century. This beautiful Benson and Woody pack, look how much it is. 15 bucks. I'm going to get it. Let's put our thinking caps on. I read this online. A tale of two toy makers. Mattel soars, Hasbro sinks, but there's more to the story. Let's look at some graphs to understand this very cryptic headline. Looking at Mattel's share price history, at the start of 2020, it's $13.80. Going back to 1968, there have been 2 major bubbles in price. I'm not sure what's caused those bubbles, maybe you know. But since the mid-90s, the price lows have been around $10 US. The price highs have been around $40 US. But it's those 2 extreme bubbles in price that I'm very curious about, and I wonder if it's going to happen again. Let's take a look at a very different story. Here is Hasbro's share price. At the start of 2020, it's $105 US. Since, say, 1971, the price has steadily increased, but since 2014, the price rise has started to bubble. What I find curious is the last couple of years, the price has been swinging around by roughly $40 US. Now remember, Hasbro's share price is up near $105, yet poor old Mattel is struggling to get above $13. So I'm going to ask my audience, and I've asked many people out in the real world, why do these 2 major toy makers have 2 totally different fates in their share price? Let's zoom into a 5-year time frame and look at some other comparisons. First up, the S&P 500 index. That's over the last 5 years. The gold spot price in US dollars, again over the last 5 years. Bitcoin's price in US dollars over the last 5 years. That's a very curious one in my mind. Notice it hasn't gone back to zero. And now Mattel's share price over the last 5 years, and Hasbro. Taking a look at that very carefully, I'll flick back to Mattel. Look at that there, okay, and we'll flick back to Hasbro one last time. So get your crystal balls out. What is going to happen to Mattel's share price? I've been watching Mattel's share price for quite some time now. It's been a really, really curious thing because Mattel have got such a market share in the toy aisle. Nearly every second toy I pick up is manufactured by Mattel. What I don't understand is what has driven Mattel's share price down to this low, and I need to understand what would make it rise up to being, let's say, $40 again. If I could understand that, surely there's a bucket of money to be made. In no way is this investment advice. I could talk about toys, but I can't talk about investments. But maybe I should be buying the stock and not the toys. But if I keep seeing empty peg syndrome on very popular toys, well, I'm not very confident.